Welcome back, tech enthusiasts, to another exciting episode of TechNation. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating realm of cybersecurity. Get ready to explore an innovative concept that's revolutionizing the way we protect our digital assets. Welcome to our exploration of ZeroTrust. In today's interconnected world, the traditional castle and moat approach to security is no longer sufficient. Cybercriminals are becoming more sophisticated, and breaches are constantly making headlines. It's time to embrace a new paradigm that assumes nothing and trusts no one by default. Enter ZeroTrust, a security framework that provides granular control, continuous authentication, and strict access restrictions. ZeroTrust, the innovative security approach, has gained significant traction among security leaders. According to the 2022 State of ZeroTrust Security Report, an overwhelming majority of organizations are actively embracing or planning to adopt this strategy. The study revealed that 97% of respondents have either implemented or have plans to establish a zero-trust initiative within the next 18 months. Impressively, the adoption of ZeroTrust has experienced remarkable growth in a short span of time. In just 1 year, the percentage of organizations already implementing ZeroTrust more than doubled, surging from 24% in 2021 to an impressive 55% in the 2022 survey conducted by Okta, a leading provider of identity and access management technology. Notably, this 55% represents more than 3 times the figure observed 4 years ago. In 2018, when Okta first inquired about the presence or future plans for a zero-trust initiative within the following 18 months, only 16% of security leaders responded affirmatively. The increasing adoption of ZeroTrust aligns with the mounting security challenges faced by enterprises today. Organizations have witnessed the expansion of their attack surfaces, particularly due to widespread remote work policies and the proliferation of endpoint devices outside traditional corporate boundaries. Concurrently, the frequency and intensity of cyber attacks have witnessed an alarming rise, necessitating a proactive and robust security approach like ZeroTrust. The traditional security model focused on fortifying perimeters, drawing parallels to building a protective moat around a castle. This approach aimed to ward off external threats while allowing unrestricted movement within the castle walls. However, this model operated under the flawed assumption that users and devices within the corporate environment could be inherently trusted. It overlooked the potential risks posed by insider threats and the ability of malicious actors to breach the perimeter and disguise themselves as trusted entities within the environment. Moreover, this model became incompatible with the modern IT landscape of the 21st century. With the advent of cloud computing and the proliferation of endpoint devices requiring access to enterprise systems from outside the traditional corporate IT environment, the concept of a well-defined perimeter became obsolete. In response to these changes, security leaders began re-evaluating their strategies, moving away from over-reliance on perimeter defenses and shifting towards implementing more granular controls such as data-level authentication and encryption to safeguard enterprise assets. In 2010, John Kindervag, formerly an analyst at Forrester Research and now Senior Vice President of Cybersecurity Strategy and Group Fellow at ON2 IT Cybersecurity, introduced the concept of not extending trust to anything within or outside organizational perimeters. This groundbreaking idea formed the basis of what we now know as ZeroTrust. Since then, interest in and adoption of ZeroTrust principles have steadily gained momentum. In a significant development, the White House bolstered the prominence of ZeroTrust in May 2021. Through an executive order, the federal government emphasized the necessity of adopting security best practices and advancing towards a zero-trust architecture. This endorsement further propelled the visibility and adoption of zero-trust principles. What exactly is zero-trust? At its core, zero-trust represents a security strategy that revolves around the principle of trust no one and nothing, verify everything. According to Steve Wilson, principal analyst at Constellation Research, ZeroTrust challenges the assumption of trust and advocates for granting users and agents the minimum privilege and access required to fulfill their tasks. It emphasizes the importance of verifying every privilege and access request, rather than making assumptions. Often referred to as the ZeroTrust security model or framework, this approach involves designing and implementing a security program that doesn't implicitly trust any user, device, or agent. Instead, any entity seeking access to corporate assets must provide evidence that it deserves trust. Ismail Valenzuela, senior instructor at the SANS Institute, describes Zero Trust as a philosophy, a mindset, and an evolution of the defense in-depth approach. When effectively implemented, it not only prevents unauthorized access to networks, systems, and data by malicious actors but also reduces detection and response times in case any malicious activity does occur. To achieve the Zero Trust model, various control measures are implemented, removing implicit trust and requiring verification across multiple pillars. Different frameworks propose a varying number of pillars, with most commonly identifying either 5 or 7 pillars. The foundation of Zero Trust is built upon pillars that serve as essential components of its implementation. While different frameworks and organizations may present varying perspectives, 2 common versions of the pillars exist: the 5-pillar framework and the 7-pillar framework. The commonly recognized 5-pillar framework includes identity, device, network, application workload, and data. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, follows the 5-pillar model in its maturity model. On the other hand, the 7-pillar framework was introduced by Forrester in 2018 as the Zero Trust Extended Ecosystem. It identifies the following core pillars: workforce security, device security, workload security, network security, data security, visibility and analytics, automation and orchestration. Alternative variations may also exist, with some frameworks and vendors presenting 6 pillars or using alternative terms such as monitor and remediate, and endpoint protection. In addition, specific areas within the IT infrastructure are often referred to as Zero Trust, such as Zero Trust Architecture, ZTA, and Zero Trust Network Access, ZTNA. These terms signify the application of Zero Trust principles to those particular parts of the infrastructure. Despite variations in terminology, experts emphasize that the ultimate objective remains consistent: the removal of implicit trust throughout the environment and the implementation of processes, policies, and technologies that continually authenticate and authorize entities before granting access. The path towards achieving Zero Trust is a gradual process, requiring time and effort, as emphasized by experts. Zero Trust encompasses a combination of policies, procedures, and technologies. Additionally, they need to maintain precise records of users and devices, alongside a robust data classification program, incorporating privileged access management, as stated by Valenzuela. Other crucial components involve comprehensive identity management, application-level access control, and microsegmentation, which aids in controlling access and restricting movement within the IT environment. Another significant element is user and entity behavior analytics, which leverages automation and intelligence to discern normal user and entity behaviors deemed trustworthy, enabling the identification and denial of anomalous behaviors that pose a threat. Various technologies contribute to the implementation of Zero Trust, including network detection and response, NDR, tools, endpoint detection and response, EDR, solutions, and multi-factor authentication capabilities. The multitude of policies, procedures, and technologies required can be overwhelming, serving as a barrier to adoption. Additionally, legacy technology presents a significant hurdle as older systems often lack compatibility or support for the components of a Zero Trust security model. Organizations typically cannot afford to replace existing security technologies and modernize legacy systems all at once. Similarly, transitioning workers to new policies and procedures in a single sweep is impractical. Wilson explains that Zero Trust introduces friction, which can adversely affect the user experience. Another hurdle to overcome is the increased complexity associated with Zero Trust. Most organizations are in the early stages of implementing the necessary controls, and few have achieved full maturity. To effectively implement Zero Trust and overcome the associated challenges, experts recommend adopting a staged approach. Instead of attempting a complete transformation all at once, the focus should be on taking incremental steps towards reducing implicit trust. Network segmentation and application segmentation may fall into either the do now or do next activities, based on the organization's current security posture and technological maturity. ARAS emphasizes the importance of conducting a thorough analysis of the organization's current state to accurately determine the appropriate sequencing of actions for the do now, do next, and do later stages. By approaching Zero Trust in stages and aligning implementation steps with the organization's specific context, enterprises can navigate the complexities and challenges more effectively. As we conclude this journey into the world of Zero Trust, One thing becomes crystal clear. The era of blindly trusting every user, every device, and every entity within our digital realms is behind us. The paradigm has shifted, and a new era of security has dawned. Zero Trust, with its unwavering focus on verifying everything and trusting nothing, emerges as the ultimate safeguard against the ever-evolving threat landscape. It is a philosophy, a mindset, and a call to action for organizations worldwide. No longer can we rely on outdated perimeter defenses or assume that everyone and everything within our walls is trustworthy. The challenges are formidable, but the stakes are higher than ever. With the increasing sophistication of cyberattacks and the proliferation of endpoints, the time for complacency is over. We must embark on this journey of change, step by step, stage by stage, dismantling implicit trust and replacing it with rigorous verification. So, let us embrace this transformative path, breaking free from the shackles of legacy systems and traditional thinking. Let us redefine security, layer by layer, pillar by pillar, until our environments become fortresses of resilience and protection. Remember, the road to zero trust is not for the faint of heart. It requires determination, perseverance, and a relentless pursuit of security excellence. But in the end, the reward is a future where our systems are fortified, our data is safeguarded, and our users can navigate the digital landscape with confidence. Together, we can build a world where trust is earned, security is paramount, and our digital ecosystems thrive. So, join us on this extraordinary journey into the realm of zero trust. The future awaits, and together, we will shape it with unyielding resolve and unwavering trust in the power of technology. TechNation signing out.